I'm just chatting to Josh Turner from Mosaic Band about the album that they released this week. And Josh, really interested to know how come it got to the top of iTunes in one day. What's that about?
I actually have no idea how this album has gone to #1 on iTunes. We sold quite a few physical copies. This has been an album that's come out of our church community, and it's really songs that have been really just part of our journey, like as a church. And so for us, it's kind of strange because we feel our church actually brought us physical copies, and there's all these people around the country that are picking it up and running with it. And I don't know, it makes you kind of think that there's a reason to actually writing these songs, like, because I don't know, sometimes when you're writing for a small church, you just sort of think that's as far as it's going to go. But there's definitely after releasing the album, there's been quite a demand for it, for our sort of unique style and flavour that we have. So yeah.
Yeah, so the name of the album, Youth Surround, how did you come to naming it that as a group of songs that?
Yeah, I wrote this tag that just has that line that you surround us, and for me it really just talks to me about how I think there's a lot of songs that sort of talk about God being this distant, far away being, but for me, my experience with God is that He's kind of in everything, and He's surrounding us, and He is near to us. He's not far from us, and so You Surround just really spoke to me. But then just the parallels of just how that was just really through all of our songs, just about a God that is not only close to us, but actually is pursuing us as well, and actually wants relationship with us. So yeah. Hey,
so Josh, who is the band?
Well, the band is made up of our music community. I mean, tonight we've got a gathering, with like 40 musicians coming. So there's a lot of musicians that we can pull from. But up in the studio we had quite a few of us. We slept up in the studio for a week, and so the band was really made up of. There's the writers, so that was Si and Kelly Hayward and myself, and then we also had other people like Harper on bass, Kelly Macnamara on guitar, Linden Cunninghame on guitar, and people like Georgia Lines, and then we've got other singers like Hannah and Alice and a whole bunch of people that have all sort of come together to just sort of, I don't know, all share their gifts and talents to sort of make this album what it is. And so
yeah, you have some great musicians and singers in the band. I saw Georgia Lines was singing at the launch party, and she's been with it since she's about very young, I think, and doing quite well as a solo.
Yeah, Georgia has been doing it for a while. Georgia's, she started when she was 12, and she's been doing things like opening for different people like Jamie McDowell up in Auckland, and playing big shows, and she is young. So
you recorded in Auckland, and I guess you're going to be working on writing more songs and probably more CDs coming out.
Yeah,
down the track.
5 years ago we did our first album, and that did really well. The radio picked it up in terms of like the Christian radio stations picked it up, and it did really well. But it took, that's 5 years ago, and so for us, we just don't want to be waiting that long between tracks. So we've been talking about what's the best way to move forward with recording, and we've been talking about maybe like every 3 tracks, just getting it recorded, going up to Auckland, doing the studio thing, and just getting songs out there, because it can take a long time to really test and trial songs. And it's taken us 5 years to really get this album done, and obviously we could have done it sooner, but the timing's been fine. But from now on, we do hope to get songs out quicker.
Yeah. So what do you think the future holds as far as the album, the CD that's gone to the top of iTunes? Where can it go to next? How do you think it's going to...
Well, I really don't know. It is the kind of thing where I think that New Zealand does have something unique, and I think that so far our music has pretty well just served New Zealand. there has been like a few places over in the States that have picked up some of the songs. But I think like in this day and age, in this new, I don't know, technology savvy kind of thing that is now today, it's like it's not uncommon for music and things to just be heard on the other side of the world and to just go further than your shores. So I mean, we're just not really wanting to really limit really what can happen to our music. There's a lot of people showing interest in it, especially over in Australia, and there's exciting things, but at the same time, we're just enjoying the ride. I mean, like, who knows what's going to happen? So, and so, yeah, it was a really fun time recording it, actually, because everyone does get along so well, and we are really, at the end of the day, friends. So, yeah.
Cool.